The second question comes from Pierre Durani. Dear Igor, what do you think or feel is the purpose of all this violence, destruction, craziness we see in the human world today? Human is in the brackets. In countries, families and groups, and how to handle or cope with it. We are all carrying bits of this violence, or carrying bits, sorry. We are all carrying bits of this violence through our family lines and as members of this civilization. Yes, this is part of the lesson from the capital L. And as such, perhaps, a gift of sorts. But please explain how to cope. When one opens up and feels all this pain on macro, meso and micro level, it hurts so much. Thank you. Yes, it's absolutely true. All this what we experience on the outside is not separate. And this would, to assume that somehow these events take place geographically or in, somewhere else, even if here, at any given unit, at any given place, at any given family, at any given tribe, there is a relative peace, that somehow that violence, that discord is somewhere else. This would be a misunderstanding of how everything is strung together, how everything is connected together. Everything that we perceive out there, we perceive obviously through the instrumentality of what is happening in here. And subject-object in that very, very delicate relationship, that we know that they are not separate events. They are not separate entities. As we know in consciousness, and for consciousness, for awareness, subject and object are always in a beautiful repose. Or in other words, they do not exist in terms of that separation. They are always in a state, in a golden, molten state of equilibrium. There is no subject and object as two separate entities. Or, if you will, there is only subject when we talk of consciousness. Everything is subject for consciousness, because consciousness itself is subject, the only one who experiences it all. So I'd like to take your question to where it belongs. That discord that we experience, of course, rises from the very, very root, or from the very core where the separation itself takes place. How and why? Again, we can begin to speculate on what is the original cause of why the separation took place. What is important here is that we are given this opportunity to reconcile that discord here and now in this body of consciousness where we are literally find ourselves right now. So I appreciate the intensity of your query, the intensity of your question, is that this somehow affects us on a daily level, on a daily basis. So my suggestion would be here, is to choose very carefully where do you actually place your attention. Literally, where do you place your attention on the regular basis? Where do you place your attention on a daily basis? I'm not saying immediately where you're supposed to put your attention on a daily basis. I'm not saying that this where your attention should go to, or here your attention should go to. No, I'm only asking you a question. Where do you put your attention? What do you see as the primal focal of your attention? There are a lot of people out there who are, in the name of best intentions, right, are wrecking the peace within and only shaking this boat as we're trying to cross safely onto the other shore. a lot of people out there are filled with best intentions. Yet what they are doing, they essentially add that discord with their disturbed sense of peace, with their disturbed sense of here and now, how they are in this embodiment, in this moment. So I'm welcoming to see it from a very, very fresh and simple perspective. Yes, it's not about putting a blind eye on all these atrocities, on all this injustice, on all this what we need to face collectively. It's very good to know what is happening. You have to go and find out what is actually happening. What is the cause of that? Not stopping at any place where you think, okay, oh, I know, because it's the bad government. There's a corruption. There's a conspiracy. It's them. It's always them. It's always someone responsible for that discord. Someone always is responsible. Whereas in my mind, inviting you to take that responsibility squarely here into your own consciousness and see how that discord can be healed here, from where then the healing touch to the world can be given with actually a very, very natural way of simply observing how everything perfectly coexists together in coherence and union. I know it bewilders our mind. How can that be done? How can we do that? How can we do that? How can we say the world is perfect when the world is utterly imperfect? There is starvation, there is this, there's injustice, there is this warmongering, there's this, there's that. Endless list. But where is my attention goes? If my attention is taken away from this very moment of that beauty of this cup and the content of its drink and the flower that grows in my garden and the neighbor that lives next to me and that dog that runs and barks and wags its tail, at the child that I see, at the smile, you see, at the lock of gray hair on the face of this beautiful old lady. Do I see the grass? Do I see the dust? Do I see the sand on which my feet are treading every day? There is a lot of beauty and harmony here, right now. Amazing beauty that goes unnoticed, unseen, uncherished, unacknowledged. This is where I'm inviting you to turn your attention. In other words, there's a possibility of becoming a magician of recognizing this magic of this existence here and now. And that is what bringing that necessarily healing touch. But for that, of course, you need to go in. You need to go in. You need to go in. You need to turn 180 degrees. Not 60 degrees, not 30 degrees. It's not enough. You see, when we turn 30 degrees, right, away from what is, let's say, we consider as ugly and horrible, it's not enough. When we turn 60 degrees, it's still not enough. It has to be 180 degrees. We have to turn within. Turning within is that complete recognition that this world literally comes as a projection of our perception. And it is so subtly interconnected that every projection that comes out of us creates the world and then becomes the world that we've created as a grand perception. It's a big theme. But at this stage, to make it simple, just make that intent today, now, that what you will place your attention on that what is worthy of attention, what is worthy of being watered, what is worthy of your attention. Your attention is power, your attention is energy. Whenever we turn our attention to something, we magnify its quality. Literally, walking with a magnifying glass. You know, if you use your magnifying glass, you can actually enlarge certain aspects and see the utter beauty of what has not been seen. Or you could create fire. Position the glass in a certain way and the beam of light cuts through and burns the surface. Just to contemplate on that. Okay?